Today we're doing 9-7 Practice Buddy Drake Part 2. Question number 1. Mrs. James has a 4 square foot bulletin board and a 10 square foot bulletin board. She wants to cover both boards with index cards without gaps or overlaps. Each index card has an area of 1/3 square foot. How many index cards does she need? All right, so what we're doing is we're actually covering both bulletin boards with index cards. And since they said it's 4 square foot and a 10 square foot boards, those are the areas of the boards. So we need to find the total area of the board so we know how much we have to cover. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to add the two boards. Obviously, this is pretty easy. We're going to take 10 plus 4, and we get 14 square feet of bulletin boards. Now, we are covering them with the index cards, and it gave us the area of the index card of 1/3 square foot. And so what's nice about this problem is we have the same measurements or values or whatever you want to call it, so that we are ready to go. So how do we figure out how many we need to cover it? Well, we have to figure out how many we need. So we are covering it. Each one is 1/3. How many do we need? Well, we're going to take our 14. That's the total we have to cover, and we're going to divide it by 1/3 to see how many we need. Now again, we don't have two fractions yet, so we have to turn the 14 into a fraction. A whole number, we put it over 1. Now, since it's division, we have to keep flip it. So keep 14 over 1 the same. Change the division sign to multiplication. Flip the second fraction to 3 over 1. So 14 times 3. If you don't know the answer to this, write it down. 4 times 3 is 12. Regroup your 1. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. So our answer is 42 over 1. Top times the top, bottom times the bottom, which is just 42. So she needs 42 index cards. Number 2, Debbie cut a cord into 8ths. She used 7 of the pieces to make necklaces. She used equal lengths of the remaining cord for each of 5 bracelets. What fraction of the original cord did Debbie use for each bracelet? Well, the first thing we have is we have a whole cord that she cut into 8ths. So if we take a whole and we cut it into 8ths, we get 8/8, because 8/8 make a whole. She used 7 of them to make necklaces already. So we need to get rid of 7/8. So what is 8/8 minus 7/8? Well, we're left with 1/8. That's how much cord she had left. Now, what did she do with the remaining cord? Well, it said that she used it to make 5 bracelets. Okay, so she's splitting that 8 into 5 pieces. How do we do that? Well, we take our 8, we're splitting it or cutting it. My 8 doesn't look good, I'm going to fix that. We're splitting it or cutting it, so we are dividing it, and we're dividing it by 5 pieces. All right, we have a division problem that involves a fraction, so we have to turn them both into fractions. So really, it's 5 over 1. Now we have a division problem, so we have to keep flip it. We keep the 1/8 the same. We change the division sign to multiplication, and we flip the second one. Then we just do top times the top and bottom times the bottom. 1 times 1. 8 times 5. So our answer is 1/40 of the original cord, which on mine is D, yours might be different. Question 3. Write the equations needed to solve the problem, then solve. Robert wants to use all the ingredients listed in the table to make trail mix. How many 1/4 pound packages can he make with that trail mix? It says click on the view, and it looks like we have 3 ingredients. We have 3 1/2 pounds of dried bananas, 2 pounds of pecans, and 1 1/2 pounds of prunes. So he has to put this all together to make trail mix. So the first thing is, how do we put this all together? Well, we have to add those 3 things. So we have to do 3 1/2, 2 wholes, and 1 1/2, and we need to add them. All right, well, which formula is that? Well, it looks like 3 plus 2 plus 1 1/2 plus 1/4. Oh, that's not what I wrote down. 3 1/2 plus 2 plus 1 1/2. That looks like what I wrote down. Now I need to solve it. Well, what's 1/2 plus 1/2? That would be 2/2. Well, what is 2/2 really? Well, that equals 1 whole. 2 divided by 2 is 1 whole. Then we have to add in our other whole numbers. 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So really we have 6 plus 1, which is 7 pounds. So our answer to this first one is 7 pounds. Now, what are we going to do with those 7 pounds? Well, we are going to split it into 1/4 pound packages. Well, how do we split it into 1/4 pound packages? Well, we take our whole, that is 7 pounds, and we divide it by 1/4. Okay. So we have 7 divided by 1/4. We need 2 fractions. So we have to turn the whole number into a fraction, so we put it over 1. Now we have a division problem with fractions. So we implement keep, change, split because it was division. We need to get rid of that. So we're going to keep 7/1 the same. We're going to change the division to multiplication, and we're going to flip the second fraction. Now we can do the top times the top and the bottom times the bottom. 7 times 4 is 28. 1 times 1 is 1. 28 divided by 1 is just 28. So we can make 28 packages of trail mix. Now let me see. Yes, they want me to type it in again. So it is 28 packages. On to question 4. Write the equations needed to solve the problem, then solve. Erica used 1/2 of a package of brownie mix. She will use equal parts of the leftover mix to make 3 batches of brownies. What fraction of the original package will she use for each batch? Well, what did she do? She had a package. Well, what's a package? That would be 1 whole package. So she had 1 whole package. What did she do? She used half of it. Well, what does that mean? That means she already used it. She got rid of it, which means we need to subtract 1/2. Well, what's 1 minus 1/2? Well, 1's a whole number, so we need to turn it into a fraction, which is really 2/2. Well, what's 2/2 minus 1/2? Well, we're left with half the box. So what fraction, or what equation did we do? Well, we did 1 minus 1/2, and we were left with 1/2. Okay, great. What did we do with it? Well, it says she will use equal parts of the leftover. The leftover is the half that's left over, to make 3 batches of brownies. Okay, so she's going to split that half into 3 pieces. So down here, we had 1/2 left, and we're splitting it into 3 pieces. So we're going to take our 1/2 and divide it by 3. Again, we have a division problem with a fraction. We need 2 fractions. So we turn this whole number into a fraction. Now, since it's division, again, we implement keep, change, flip. Keep the first fraction the same. Change the division sign to multiplication. Flip the second number, which is the reciprocal. Now we can do top times the top, bottom times the bottom, 1 times 1, 2 times 3. So we are left with 1/6 of the original package to make each of those batches. So we're going to type in 1/6, and I'm guessing they're going to want us to type 1/6 again. We are going to check our answers to see if we got them all correct. Thank goodness, 100% today. I hope if this is hard for you that you are learning something every time that you watch this to try to get a little bit better with solving these multiple step problems.